Welcome to the Redvee TV Show, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season. And this week, we look ahead to the return of the Magic Weekend and also the re-signing of a Saint.
Fantastic stuff.
How are we, Kevin?
I'm very well, David. How are you?
My ankle's all right. You'd be glad to know.
Yeah, I was going to say I hope you're fit and well for the trip up to Newcastle, and that Saints don't stumble and fall to defeat. And try and fit as many words as I could do about your little fall at the end of the instant fan reaction.
Yeah. There'll now be people adding to the views of that video who went, "What fall? Didn't get to the end of it."
Yeah. Just clicking for the last minute and going, yeah, what was that? Yeah.
Right, Kevin, it is the return of the Magic Weekend at St. James's Park. There it is in all its glory. That isn't the top level where you're pretty much watching Subbuteo players. There has been some discussion about whether this would be the final Magic Weekend. Obviously, IMG have recommended it in the reduction of loop fixtures and things. But it seems like the clubs want to keep it. What are your thoughts on it?
I suppose I don't like the fact that it's just an extra fixture in the calendar, skewing the calendar. But that's the same with all loop fixtures. I'm not a massive fan of those. As for the weekend, though, it looks like we're going to get the weather for it. And when you do, it is a great weekend for all fans, if they so wish, to travel to Newcastle, Cardiff, wherever it's been held, and mingle with fans of other clubs. I think it's a great concept, or at least it was. I'm not sure if it's getting to its sell-by date.
In terms of concept, Kev, the initial concept was about spreading the game, wasn't it? Taking it to new areas. But if we're being perfectly honest now, is it just a money-generating cash cow for the sport and the clubs?
Yes, it's another big day out, and I think that's why IMG, or one of the reasons IMG want to get rid of it, so you focus on your finals and you sell out your finals before you sell tickets to a Magic Weekend. Unfortunately, it seems like we've come away from that idea of having it in a city or a place where we feel we can grow the game. And you look at the kind of legacy that we've left at these places. So we had it at Cardiff. There's no club in South Wales, no professional club in South Wales. We've had it in Manchester. Closest is Salford. And I know there is a thriving lower league around Manchester, I'll say, rather than in Manchester scene, but it's never really took off there. Anfield, same. Murrayfield up in Edinburgh, same. And Newcastle, you wonder what they've done there to build it, because I don't think Newcastle Thunder get the gates that they would hope that they were getting with all the eyes of the rugby league and some sporting world on Newcastle, and seeing the game and thinking, well, actually, yeah, I'm going to nip along to that. We've said it in the past. You've said it. Well, you came up with it, that Newcastle may well have missed the boat now that Newcastle United have been taken over and are finishing in the top four of the Premier League, and people want to be part of something that is an immediate success and is reaping rewards straight away. I do feel like it's been massive opportunities missed. I think it is a day more for the fans and the club's coffers than anything else, though.
Yeah, and obviously Newcastle keen to hold the event, given that it helps sell out their hotels for the weekend, and obviously the money it brings into the local economy. Listen, it is a good day out, but it's an awful long way to travel for us to play Huddersfield.
Yeah, I know people say, "I'll just play the derbies," but I don't want to water down derbies either. And I think there could be a narrative built into some of these games. I'm not sure Saints Huddersfield is one you can do, but you could turn around and say, if it was Saints Warrington or Saints Catalan or Saints Leeds, or Saints Wigan. You've got a couple that you could build a narrative into. Wigan could play, again, Warrington Saints, Leeds, Lee. You can build a couple of these narratives where you make a story and big them up in the media and get them into national media and make more of an exciting buzz about it. Because this just seems like I genuinely, apart from one that I've seen, Sam Tompkins will play against his boyhood club. So he's going to play for Catalan against Wigan. I don't know any other fixture that's happening this weekend, and I follow rugby league.
The issue I have with it is you talk about building it up in the national media, but you look at it from somebody outside the game looking in. What's so special about Magic Weekend? It's just 6 league fixtures.
Well, yeah, but it's almost the premise of playing them all at the same place over a weekend, and I get that as a good concept, but it's not been built upon. Remember when it used to be a proper event? You go there and it felt like it was something new and special, and wow, look at what an idea this is. So I can go in, and I'm not going to travel to the other side of the country and watch FC versus KR, or as it was Leeds Bradford. I'm not going to see games like that, but I could just sit in the stand and watch them if I wanted to. Get a ticket, get a 2-day ticket, and sit and watch them. But because, as you say, because probably the league standard has dropped as well, am I bothered about seeing games like that? At the minute, no.
I think it's fair to say, Kev, that we're going to go in, we're going to watch Saints, and then we're going to leave.
Yep.
Got no interest in watching. Is it Warrington Hull after us?
Not a clue.
No interest in watching them. We'll be well on our way home and looking at the score. But you know what, Kev? There is everything that goes on outside. You've got the teacups. You've got the rugby balls on top of a stand to knock off with beanbags to win a free train ticket. What more do you want?
to be light enough to have a go with them teacups.
Oh, what about the gladiator soft play?
Yeah, well, I'd have a go with that, but I think I'd be kicked out after usual sticking a load of people.
To be fair, Kev, I'm not saying go and joust a load of 5-year-olds. Pick on someone your own size.
Right, like Shadow from Gladiators.
Hey, Gladiators is coming back on the BBC.
I know it is. I know. I'm excited to see it, to be fair.
The only thing we need now is Baywatch and Blind Date, and there's Saturday night sorted.
Exactly. Just hearing from the kitchen, awooga, as John Fashanu comes out.
and if we're really lucky, Quantum Leap will be on afterwards.
Oh, that'll do. That'll do. Right. This is a section for the kids, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's take a quantum leap and look at the squads.
2 changes for Saints as Ben Davies and Sam Royal drop out. And we get 2 internationals back in Mark Percival and Matty Lees.
Fair to say, Kev, easily our strongest squad of the season. From 1 to 19, the only man missing out is Morgan Knowles. I wouldn't like to be picking who misses out from this, but we will anyway.
Yeah, we'll have to, won't we? It's a tough one, isn't it? I think you can probably say that with a full complement of props available there, you would think that young George Delaney will miss out. Again, it's no bad thing that he's starting to miss games. He needs that time to build, doesn't he? He needs time to get used to playing, get used to his own body and what he can and can't do. When he's playing against experienced fellas in Super League at a step up from playing for Swinton. But yeah, listen, that back line is going to be a tough one to pick. Like 4 from your 2 wingers and your 2 centres. I think I could definitely have a go at the 2 centres. That I think it will be Connie, just because he gives us so much coming out. And if Percy's fit, he does exactly the same on the other side. Makinson, obviously, one wing. And then you've probably got a three-way shout between John Bennison, Will Hopoate, and T. Ritson on the left wing.
If I was going to take a guess, I would suggest John Bennison plays this week.
Okay.
And the reasons for that is, obviously, we were listening to Paul Wellens talk earlier in the week in the presser, and he was saying Will Hopoate had a little bit of a knock. I think he was going to go and see a specialist just for a second opinion. So if you need that opinion, then surely you're not going to be fit to play.
You wouldn't think so.
On the Sunday. And I'm also going to suggest that T. Ritson misses out on the basis that he was the man who got sent to Newcastle on Monday for media duties. And I don't know whether it was the player's day off, but may have missed training that day to go and do that, which may suggest that we'll rotate this week and John Bennison will get a game. Equally, if Will Hopoate is fit, given what we've picked when we've had a full squad to choose from, Will Hopoate has usually been the chosen option on the wing.
Yeah, that's it. To be fair, it's a decent point about T. Ritson. I think he's growing as a Super League player as well, isn't he? I know we said that we hadn't seen enough of his defence, but his speed kind of is helping him out there, and he looks every inch. He looks comfortable, and it was a shame for him with that kick over the top on Friday against Leeds, where he's taken the ball in and couldn't get it away to, I think it was Jake Wingfield. It's a shame that didn't result in a try, because it was just that speed that we need in our back line, being able to kind of unlock defences and make them think and make them more honest. It'd be a shame if he does miss out. I think if he's fit, he should be the option just to give us a little bit of pace in that back line. Again, I will say, and I will continue saying, that John Bennison is really unfortunate to miss out because he doesn't do anything wrong. But if he's not fit, and as you say, with Hopoate having to see a specialist, I think he's definitely the one. It'll just be a straight shootout between John Bennison and T. Ritson.
Yeah.
With the question markers you've just brought into my head that I hadn't even considered.
So for me, missing out, this is a wild stab in the dark. Delaney, Ritson, Hopoate.
Delaney, Ritson, Hopoate.
18th man.
It's a tough one, isn't it? It's properly tough this week. I think your 18th man may well be
Louis. Give him a week off.
Possibly, or Jake Wingfield.
Yeah. I don't think Lussick misses out on the squad at the moment. I think he's, over the last couple of weeks, he's really put himself into the reckoning. And, like, obviously, James Roby played 20 minutes at Leeds and then came off for the majority. I just feel at this point in the year, we need to be preserving James, giving him them breaks, and Joey Lussick needs to be taking on more minutes.
Yeah, I think Paul Wellens was brave enough to leave him on. It would have been easy to bring James back on at some point in that second half against Leeds. But leaving him out there, you're right, it builds his minutes, it builds his match sharpness, it probably builds his confidence as well. And it is needed, because going forward, we don't have James Roby. Next year, we don't have James Roby, and we have Joey Lussick on contract. Forget everything that's going on about recruitment. We've currently got Joey Lussick on contract for next year. So unless anything changes in that respect, he will be at the club next year. He needs those minutes. He needs to be able to kind of play the forwards and put them into the spaces that he wants to go. He needs to be the one who is more dynamic. We don't get that from James because of James's age and probably the fact that his body will start letting him down from time to time. So having Joey Lussick on, especially if it's going to be boiling on Sunday afternoon, you need Joey Lussick to give you that go forward.
Yeah, speaking of go forward, I did put it on the Twitter. Apologies to Alex Walmsley. Now, as people should know by now, it is an instant reaction. It's filmed from the back of the away end. And what you notice on specific little things during games, don't you? And we were focused on the bit of messing around at the play of the ball. What you fail to see from that perspective is the amount of meters that Alex Walmsley made during that game. So apologies, I got it wrong.
Oh well, because I didn't mention it either, and it's a fair point to make. That listen, when you get something wrong like that and you don't notice it, and the game, for a change, I watched the game back and it's probably not quite as bad as you paint out first time because you're immersed in that moment, aren't you? You're immersed in the game. You start spotting little things, and subconsciously they stick in your mind. I think it's still fair to mention that there is mucking about at the play of the ball, which does slow Alex Walmsley down. Maybe I don't want him to look at a referee as much as he does and just concentrate on playing it as quick as he possibly can, which I know isn't easy. But he was absolutely immense. I know Leeds, again, had a pack that was shot to pieces because they were missing 3 interchanges, but you still have got to go out and do it. And it's very easy to turn around against a pack like that and just plod it in, make 2-3 meters a run and think, well, I've done my carries. But he was actually punching holes and 233 meters in the end, the most from a Saints player, I believe. He's still got it, and he's still got it in the tank, and he will be looking to kind of cement that and keep doing that this Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say you get a completely different perspective from watching on TV to being there live, but you also get a completely different perspective from watching from the halfway line than you do behind the sticks.
And from up high to down low as well on pitch level. So where we'll probably sit at Magic Weekend will be that little bit higher, and you get more of a depth
vantage point.
Yes. And you'll be able to see like the depth perceptiveness, like the full length of the pitch, you'll be able to see where he's going. Whereas when you're that little bit lower in that Leeds away end, and you kind of mind has subconsciously pick something else to pick up on, well, it's instant, absolutely instant. No time to sit there and think and then put it out. It's literally done and done.
There you go. And that is our explanation and excuse of why we talk rubbish.
I will continue to put this out.
On to the Huddersfield squad. Now, Huddersfield, it's fair to say, I've perked up a little bit in recent weeks, and it's no shock to see that it coincides with our favourite little Frenchman, Theo Fage, coming back into their lineup.
Well, that's it. I've actually had a look at, I was on their website and trying to find their last 5 results. Lost against Hull away, lost against Hull KR away, lost against Lee at home, lost against Salford away, beat Cass at home.
Told you they picked up.
But I thought they had. But the Salford game, they lost 42 points to 40. So they'll try and fix up the defence off the back of that. Because that, to me, doesn't necessarily scream brilliant attacking play. It screams both teams couldn't be bothered making a tackle. Yeah. You're right to pick out Theo Fage as someone who is a more functional rather than off-the-cuff halfback, who will just direct teams around a field. There's no doubt in that. He did it for us for a couple of years and won grand finals off the back of it. And he saw off all comers to that number 7 shirt as well. Until Lewis Dodd obviously came through and Theo went and found himself a contract over at Huddersfield. They're still missing a couple.
Squad, Kev.
Yeah.
It's severely underperforming, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And that's it. I was going to say they're missing a couple in like Jermaine McGilvray, Ollie Russell and Josh Jones. But that's a squad that you have a look all the way down.
Kev, I've been told Jermaine McGilvray going to be sat next to Morgan Knowles in the stand-on Sunday for a chat.
Best mates.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, it's underperforming, and they've brought a lot of experience in with Adam Milner bringing him in on loan before signing him permanently at the end of the year. They need to be doing a lot better than they currently are. They need to be getting up and about the top 2, 3, 4, not just limping into the playoffs. And you could say similar to us that we should be pushing on now with our squad that we've named. This shouldn't be too scrappy game. It shouldn't be, not with the amount of talent that's on show. You get it when we played earlier in the year, and it was a bit scratchy. Both sides, good defence, but both sides not firing at the best. I think that game, Jake Connor came back in for his first game after injury. Did one good thing, did one bad thing, and then we didn't see him for the rest of the game. He is a danger man for them, as is the likes of Will Price, Theo Farge, Tuilolahea on his day. They've got enough strike there. They're just not backing it up with results at the minute. Same as us.
I was going to say, it sounds like you've just described us as well.
I should, you know what I should have done? Just recorded that bit and played it out over both squad lists.
Yeah. Now, obviously, given Magic generally pairs up, I think it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth from last season. You could argue that Saints have got one of the better matchups this weekend, and it's a chance to gain some ground because there's going to be some teams above us who drop points.
Yeah, that's it. It's not a bad shout, and that's where I go back to my earlier point about Magic Weekend of do these league fixtures skew the league? Probably, and it could end up being in Saints' favour. I'm not going to argue with it. If they're the rules that we go with, then so be it. But we can't take it lightly. We've got a full team. We're due a couple of good performances in a row here. We are due them. We've only really had, aside from the World Club Challenge, the Warrington game that we've been able to get properly excited about. We need to start putting a marker down now, especially because who have we got next week?
Wigan.
Yep.
And that's the thing, Kev. We could find ourselves potentially, if we win this week, Catalan beat Wigan, we could play Wigan next week, beat them and go above them with a game in hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know things don't always work out that way, but
nope.
It just shows how tight the table is at this moment in time.
Yeah, it does. It does. And we do want to see that, but we don't want to see it at the detriment of quality. The league won't lie at the end of the season. It won't lie at the end of the season. We've just got to start putting performances together. And I don't think there's much excuse now with a squad as strong as we're taking up to Newcastle this weekend.
Yeah. Saints still, just as a little fact, least points conceded in the league this season.
And that shows that we're still doing something right. And listen, I know we said about Lewis Dodd staying away from social media, which is what I would recommend to him at the moment. But we rightly pointed out quite a bit of what he did right against Leeds. Try saving tackles, good scrambling defence, lovely short ball to Sirenen. And after getting 2 or 3 absolutely horrendous passes from dummy half to slot over drop goals, finally deciding that the last effort with 26 seconds left on the clock, I think it was when the referee called a halt to the game, he was going to try and take that ball from James Roby, which was another, and I can't believe I'm saying this about James Roby, another horrible pass from dummy half. He managed to slot that over, and that kind of shows the guts about the lad. And the fact that after coming back from such a bad injury, him being 21, him having ups and downs as he will do, he's not a 31-year-old halfback that we've got question marks about. He's a young lad. Just stick with him. And as we've said before, if that NRL news that he wants to go down there, or he's got in it himself, an agent, sorry, If that hadn't come out, people would have been saying give him time. But all of a sudden, the Facebook pitchforks come out and people start losing their heads. And can I say this? I think I can. They're idiots. Give him time.
The thing for me is, he is our halfback. He is going to remain our halfback for the remainder of this season. So if somebody can tell me what booing the lad and giving the lad grief is going to accomplish, I'm all ears.
Yeah. Yeah,
because I don't get it. You're not helping. You're absolutely not helping. It's a detriment to the club and it's a detriment to Lewis Dodd himself. Yeah. Get behind him. Listen, there's signs there and we've got to support the lad. That's it.
Yeah, of course we have. Of course we have.
Right. Mr. Bell has signed a new 2-year extension, taking him until the end of 2025. I do like the fact that we're still putting the Scottish flag on there and pretending he's Scottish because he's played for them a couple of times and there's some distant relative. But there we go. Good news?
Very. I think he's stood up, and here's where I put the hex on him. I think he's stood up, and of those who were just getting little niggly 1 and 2 game bans here, there, and they come back in for a week or two and then get another ban, I think he's someone who's tried to adapt the best to get out of doing that. And in the absence of Morgan Knowles, I said this on the Redvee Twitter, that he is one of the beneficiaries and he's running the team has been brilliant. I genuinely think, when people talk about underrated players, he is one of those at the minute. I think the way that he mixes up running at the line, the way that he mixes up passing, the way that he almost becomes a proper 13, proper halfback-esque 13 with a good pair of hands and just mixes his game up. I think he's great for Saints.
Yeah, I think probably one of the most underrated across the league.
Possibly so, yeah. That's it. He's not a massive fella. He's not like you look at Curtis Sirenen in the second row, who's an absolute unit and uses that to his advantage. James Bell still hits hard, still makes his tackles, but mixes his game up and he's a good addition for another couple of years. That's it. I think he's 29 at the moment, 28, 29. It's taking him into his 30s, but I think you still need that. You can't just fill your team with kids. You need that experience around. And he's done great for us, especially this season. I think he's been tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised to hear he was 29. I thought he was younger.
Yeah, I think he was 29. So do a quick Wikipedia of that.
You know we will as well, don't you?
James Bell.
29.
There we go, yeah.
Last month.
I mean, if you can, can you pronounce all his name? I can't. I'm just going to stick with James Bell.
Of course I can. James Temerura Temawani Bell.
Very good.
James Temerura Te Manuwani Bell.
Very good.
That's a good place to stop.
Yep, I think so.
Right. Magic it is, Kev. Will it be a magic weekend for us? What would you predict?
Let's hope that it's not like last time we played Huddersfield. Was it last time we played Huddersfield at Magic Weekend? The likes of Calvin Wellington got a debut and got hooked at half time and we got beat 48 points to 20, I think it was. Something like that. A tight one. I will go a tight one. I'll say Saints by 12.
I'm going to go Saints by 16. Kevin, where's Calvin Wellington these days?
I don't know. Where is he?
He was last seen playing for Oldham.
All right.
But, is he at Sale? No, he's left there. Who knows? He's a trainee assistant site manager for Gleeson Homes.
All right, okay.
according to his LinkedIn.
Fair enough.
So if you want to buy a house, Calvin's your man.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you at Newcastle on Sunday at the Magic Weekend. Catch you soon.